Top Prep Sports Interviews by Sunil Sunder. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Alex Reynolds, a senior at Harbor High School in Springdale, Arkansas, and an offensive and defensive lineman on the varsity football team. Once again, Alex, thank you for the opportunity. Great to be speaking with you. And again, congrats on your success again, here at Harbor High School.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I'm glad to be on here with you.
Welcome, Bob. Okay, Alex, can you talk about, playing on the Wildcats varsity football team? It said putting that number 150, that 51 jersey on and helmet, and really what that represents to you personally here, Alex.
Um, it means a lot. Um, when you put on that 51, it helps remind you about all the hard work and all the sacrifices you made over the summer, waking up at 5 in the morning to get to practice, making sure you work your hardest day in and day out, focusing on learning new plays, new formations, and all that. And I'm so excited for the upcoming season because of that. All this hard work coming to coming to an end. Awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Can you talk about, Alex, just building off last year, entering this year? I said the final run for you here, now in your senior year, and again, two-way, both offensive and defensive linemen. So a lot of work to be put in, as we know that football requires to 24/7, 365 in terms of being the best at your position. In this case, both positions can. So if you can speak to that.
Yeah. So originally, I was an offensive lineman for the Harbor football team, but again,
Hmm.
football does require flexibility. And whenever
Yeah.
there was an opening for the defensive line and they needed someone to fill it desperately, I stepped into that shoes, and I really wanted to make sure, even though that I'd already committed to something in high school, that I really wanted to open myself to new opportunities and experience with the defensive line. And I felt I've really grown as a football player because of the understanding of both sides.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Just as you said, mentioned having that flexibility, being durable, and you know, contributing in all facets, on the team. Let's talk about strength and conditioning, nutrition, rest and recovery. There are a bunch of components that go into it here, Alex. 6 feet, 270, excuse me, benching 325, squatting 445, deadlift at 535, power clean at 255, all again, incredible numbers. Talk about that, hitting, the weight room, say getting stronger and, being in optimal shape, as you prepare for the rigors of the regular season and, to go beyond that, state playoffs and even, state championships.
So I think it really starts off with the first 3 years leading up to this year. After
Hmm.
school, I've always been trying to go and get an extra work and develop areas in my body that maybe weren't uh, crucial at the time of football practice, but because of that, I felt like it really assisted my development and in my
Hmm.
progression. And through the awesome and amazing program at Harbor High School with the strength and conditioning. Uh, with the agilities we do with the new 100s this Coach Eckley has implemented this year, I feel like
Hmm.
our team and myself included have really been able to come out of our shell and improve drastically from last year.
Yeah, it's terrific to hear. And let's go back to last year. I said this again, just outstanding. Earned the 800 and 900 pound lifting weight club in 2022. Strength athlete of the month in August 2022. You earned a varsity letter not only on the varsity football team but also in wrestling as well. So the fact that again you're incorporating another sport
Mhm.
that helps you again with that agility, that flexibility, I said on the gridiron. Just talk about how much how meaningful that was to you last year.
Well, I got to be honest. Whenever I was hear people talk about incorporating wrestling and football, especially at the lineman position, I was a
Hmm.
little bit hesitant about that. And especially, I really didn't see it at the beginning. But whenever I went to state for wrestling, and we really incorporated all the stuff that I'd learned from different moves and maybe stuff that wasn't directly affecting football. Whenever after season was over and I'd completed that on the field, it was easier for me to feel my opponent's movements and how the positioning of my body can really affect uh, their momentum and my momentum as well. And so
Mhm.
because of that, I would really, I felt like the wrestling really improved my football game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so intrigued by, like, in terms of the fundamentals, the techniques, I said, especially when you're playing, on the line, you know, I said it's always next man up. And then the fact that the player next to you, you're depending on that player as well. It's, in terms of developing that cohesiveness and chemistry as a unit. Can you, just again, talk about that element as well?
Well, I especially this year with some of the new formations and plays that Coach Eckley's implemented, you really have to
Hmm.
rely on one another whenever it comes
Hmm.
to call outs for certain plays, whenever it comes to movements, and trusting in the guy next to you that they're going to do their job so that you can perform well on yours.
Yeah.
And you really have to rely on each other in that sense, as well as understanding their limits and yours, and really
Hmm.
incorporating that in how you play.
Yeah. Equally important, I was thinking about this and it popped into my head, is what you put into your body as well, with
Mhm.
nutrition, especially growing, said each year in high school. Describe that component as well here, Alex, because I think, really that, again, to be physically, said fit as well.
Well, to go back to go back on the previous point made about my
Yeah.
wrestling, I really didn't
Yeah.
understand what I was putting in my body until
Hmm.
I joined wrestling, and they asked me to go back to an open position they had on their varsity team, 225, and I didn't realize what the type of food I was putting in my body and really focusing on that until
Hmm.
that wrestling season. And whenever I got my weight down, I really understood how maybe you don't need as much fat to move people around and how it relied on muscle. And then
Hmm.
whenever I was putting back that on, I felt like I would put on a cleaner bulk because of I understood what I was putting in my body compared to my younger days.
Yeah. No, well said. Everybody talks about how physical the sport is. There's no doubt about that. But again, also being mentally, locked in, and just, I had to ask you that because, again, there's so much that goes into it in terms of playing football. For you, what is, worked out, so effectively here, the first, I said 3 years.
I think what's worked out effectively for me is that doing everything you can, because the more physicality, I feel like I can put out physicality as much as possible, but
Hmm.
it's ensuring I can do that even through exhaustion and wear and tear. So in the fourth quarter of the game, I feel like that through because of all my summer works and the sprints and things I've been doing, I feel I can excel in the fourth quarter because of the aforementioned. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay, so I have to ask you this, Alex. What do you do in terms of pre-game routine? Anything, any superstitions or what you have, to really, say, get yourself again ready for the task at hand?
So, this is gonna sound crazy, but on the bus
Yeah.
ride there, I don't talk to anybody. I really think
Mhm.
about what coach has been harping on the past week, and how it all comes down to this, and all the hard work I've done, all the early mornings, all the late
Yeah.
afternoons, how it's all gonna compound into this one game, and that I really need to focus and get my mind ready. And so
Mhm.
through really loud music and a seclusion, I'm able to do that, sir.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. Just talk about the, behind the scenes moments, the locker room, taking the field, Friday night lights, Saturday afternoons during the fall. You have, of course, the fans, you have the cheerleaders, band, the whole. I mean, I guess there's no better feeling, I said, than being in that environment. Just for you, what is that? I mean, as you enter here and prepare for your, senior season, but just those first 3 years, you know what that
Well,
has, how that is shaped out for you.
I was surprised at how long that hype lasts. From the
Yeah.
second you walk into school, and everybody knows it's game time, especially if
Yeah.
you're playing one of our rivals. Everybody knows it's
Hmm.
game time, and so it's hard to pay attention in class just because how much of a hype is building around the game. And then
Yeah.
even from when it comes to getting meals, uh, the bus, and it slowly rises and builds until the climax of
Hmm.
that first kickoff. And so it
Yeah.
is so awesome, especially with the school spirit we have here at Harvard.
Yeah, that's again, that's fabulous to hear. You mentioned, I said coaches. I mean, your the coaching staff, your teammates, and now here you are, an upperclassman or a senior, ready to pass down that knowledge and experience to the underclassmen. Coming full circle here, but just about how much, again, they've meant to you. I said with this coaching staff and your teammates.
Uh, the coaching staff, I felt like the, our former coaches really wanted to, our former and present coaches really wanted to make sure that we know each other, our teammates, as well as them. And so we would do something, and during the week we would host team dinners in which we
Hmm.
would go out to somebody's house or maybe a place to eat and gather,
Hmm.
socialize, and understand each other beyond the football element.
Yeah.
Would And I, because of that, I feel like I really understand and can relate to my coaches.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that point up because I think in talking to other football players, coaches, they talk about that brotherhood. Is very strong. It's more than just playing the game, as you said. I mean, it's family. These relationships, friendships are going to last well beyond, said high school into college and for years to come afterwards. Just wanted to get your perspective on that as well, Alex.
Mhm.
That's great. That's good. Hey, as you know, it's just not being uh, an athlete's being a student athlete, and that for you, I know again, comes first. 3.71 GPA your junior year, 25 on your ACTs. Approved to graduate with the highest honors in December of 2024. A member of the National Honor Society. Uh, I can go on the accolades, student council your sophomore year. And this is what real I just read this recently received from the College Board, the AP Scholar Award, which recognizes the high school students who have demonstrated outstanding college level achievement throughout their performance on multiple AP exams. I mean, when you think what you've been able to do off the field and excel in the classroom, uh, just talk about. I mean, it's not easy, to balance that out, Alex. But honestly, you've been able to flourish, and be able to lock down that time management organization perfectly. Talk about just what the blueprint, what has worked for you, here.
Well, I really wondered if I about the effort and um, at the time I put into football. I felt that
Hmm.
I should respect my education and put that much effort and time back into school.
Yeah.
And I will say all this was very rigorous and difficult, but I feel like I was able to do it because of assistance from teachers, along with organizational skills,
Yeah.
and perhaps sacrificing a few weekends to get this done. But
Hmm.
I feel like that if I put a lot of effort into football, there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to put that into other aspects of my life as well.
Yeah. I mean, just having that work ethic,
Mhm.
that determination. I mean, you've obviously, been able to meet that criteria and like, again, I'm wondering, like, so your mom did again, uh, just absolutely a spectacular job providing the background information. I'm wondering, like, going way back to 2014 Science Fair, first place overall science award. That you look back on that, and then you see every year what you've been able to. I mean, there's so many of them that I can list the achievements that you've been able to accomplish, but again, I know I can see you smiling, like, just to know that, to see all that hard work pay off. Like, you've been willing to take that risk, willing to be able to dive into all these, various, again, clubs. What is that? Again, it must be very, satisfying to know, like, that, to see that.
Mhm. It is quite satisfying to look back and know all that, and I gotta thank my mom for that, for helping
Yeah.
me organize and, being able to look on that through such, intensive record keeping, so
No, definitely. I mean, I was looking at it and I even jotted it down because again, you go back to 2015, the following year, the Bernice Young, fifth grade leadership award. I mean, those are the skills that you will carry, said not only here in high school, but in college and the rest of your life as well.
yeah, most definitely.
I mean, the thing is that you've been able to immerse yourself, again, and I really, again, I think I'm also, but I'm again very impressed. I said, just take a look at this, and you did work also with the 15th anniversary of September 11th. Very commendable. I mean, I think in terms of having that impact and paying it forward. I had to ask you about that because I live in New Jersey, so I was definitely, in fact, I was in New York City on September 11th. I wanted to ask you about that. Per se, Alex.
So that story does mean a lot to me, as
Hmm.
my aunt was Stephanie Robertson. She was deployed at the time,
Okay.
and so in order to get to know her better and to mourn the s- um, and to mourn the anniversary, we
Hmm.
uh, we got together with our school, and it was really mostly her idea, but she we got that coordinated together.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, just to think. I mean, now even after what 20 years, but it's still, there's not a day that goes by that you don't remember that day. I remember I was out in Pennsylvania, about a month ago, and I was driving back actually from Washington, Pennsylvania, and I was driving by, and I saw the signs for the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and I'm thinking, again, it all comes back, but it's just, again, just again, amazing thing, you did on your part. And yeah, I mean, it's just, again, to see what each year, how you've been able to progress up the ladder. Talk about that because, even I was looking at, just recently, even with history as well, like, that different topics, you've been able to, learn about and be able to what is that? I mean, for you, again, it just seems like that curiosity and just the fact that you're the willing to learn and to, again, improve your knowledge base. Talk about that, how again that is has transformed you and it just has helped you along the way here, Alex.
Well, to go off that curiosity, I feel it's such a shame for us to be here on this earth and not to be curious about it and the
Mm-hmm.
ongoings about it. And so, along with that, I really gotta say that my parents were a big factor in that,
Mm-hmm.
exposing me to all these different types of events and activities that really
Yeah.
helped me flourish with my creativity and learning. And so, because of that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that word up, being, creativity. But I think maybe the most pride and joy, maybe like, the biggest accomplishment, and I want you to talk about this, is back in 2016 you started a nonprofit called Clean Start. So I wanted to give you the floor, to talk about that. And you said you organize and maintain the website as well for the nonprofit for a Clean Start. So, to let everybody know out there, again, how this initiative, how important it is to you.
So, to go off that, what Clean Start is, to answer any of those who don't know,
Mhm.
Clean Start is a nonprofit that, back in whenever I used to live in Elkins, I noticed whenever I was going around in school that a lot of kids, they didn't have you could tell who was from perhaps lower income
Mhm.
neighborhoods and things like that because of their hygiene, and maybe that the situation at home wasn't the best. And
Yeah.
so I really felt sad about that. And in order to maybe assist this situation ever so slightly, I created a nonprofit, which I thought at the time was going to be very small, but it
Mhm.
really exploded. And we were able to donate hundreds of backpacks full of hygiene supplies and and different essentials for kids struggling in that regard. And
Mhm.
we even once went to an orphanage and provided these said backpacks. And I feel like that uh, in that Clean Start is really close to my heart for that
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah, I did. It's special. I mean, the fact that you are, I said, helping out, again, low income, homeless people, kids from foster families, orphanages. I mean, that is just, again, inner city, just to help out, the kids, here who don't have, I said, the basic necessities in life. And the fact that they're able to benefit, you're able to contribute in that fashion. I mean, that's got me, again, as I said, paying it forward and just, volunteering. I mean, I don't think, there's any other better feeling, I said, in this world, especially when you can, again, make a difference. Just talk about that, because I think, again, it's just we talk about life skills, that's something that, I'm sure you want to continue, for years to come here, Alex.
Most definitely, and I didn't realize how much joy would come out of it, but seeing the smiles on people's faces, especially little children, whenever they felt like somebody cares for them, and they
Hmm.
receive something like that, it is absolutely wonderful, sir. And
Yeah.
so that's part of the reason why I still continue to do it and why it's such a priority in my life.
Yeah. No, kudos to you. Just to, applaud you, for taking, undertaking that, said step. And, it's not easy to do so, but, I said you were willing to, again, do all the hard work and, behind the scenes, and, to see it thriving, to this day, 7 years later, again, deserve a lot of credit. Hey, I know one of your mottos, you definitely want to earn a spot on the college football team, but also want to become a family lawyer. Very ambitious goals, very commendable. Talk about that, like, that it's not that far off. I mean, but that's definitely, said your vision, is to be playing college football.
Hmm. Uh, I That's the reason why I put so much hard work into these different various
Mhm.
aspects of my life is because of
Yeah.
college football and the opportunities that it may provide for me, and just the chance to play on such a big stage. That would just be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. No, that's great. I wanted to transition back to Harbor High School in terms of the support from the student body, the administration, athletic department, what they've, again, how they've been able to, pave the way for you and just help you along this journey as well.
Well, I really want to thank the coaches uh, from my development, especially my early years when perhaps I didn't know as much, and they really assisted in my growth, both physically and mentally, and being able to help manage football, uh, personal life, uh, gaining friends because of that, and it really helped develop me into the man I am today. And I really commend that from the Harbor staff.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Everybody talks about the school itself, but I think the community plays a pivotal role as well, in terms of with the school and the football team as well. Talk about that. It's at Springdale, Arkansas. Just just having all people from the town come out and support, the team. During the regular season, but even off season as well.
Yeah. Um, so our stadiums, especially for home games, they're always packed, and it's such an exhilarating feeling to hear a packed stadium cheer you on uh,
Hmm.
through all through any game, winning or losing. And so the community that comes out, that's always amazing, especially the students at Harbor. I got to give them a shout out because on game days, uh, especially home ones, the attitude is always uplifting. There's always feels like you can always especially feel it in the hallways when you walk down with that jersey on. There's
Hmm.
banners on the walls. Uh, we have a rotunda, which is a giant circular stairwell, and there's always posters hanging down it from different art programs within the school, and it's always awesome to see that sport.
Yeah, that's great to see that school spirit, alive and kicking. I mean, I think that, again, that gives you that extra, adrenaline, as I said, rush, knowing that you're about to, prepare for a game. You talked about your family, and I think family support is so, again, critical. Parents, uh, siblings. Can you talk about, just again, having that backbone, just support it, just again knowing that you can rely on them, through all the ups and downs, all the trials and tribulations, but the fact that, they're, again, always to help you.
Yeah, going to both my parents and being able to find support, e- even through tough times in school, perhaps in the fall, whenever big exams are coming up, being able
Hmm.
to them giving me access to tutoring and finding different sources for me to deepen my learning and to be able to keep my grades to such a high standard, that's always wonderful. And for my sister for always coming out to my games cold and wet and supporting me either way, and so that's always great.
Yeah, it's again, it's beautiful to hear. And what to ask you that in terms of the sports you played, I know that you played baseball also when you were younger. T-ball, youth baseball league. So I know it's been over a decade probably since then, but what are your memories of that, and just in terms of starting out playing sports? And I know that you eventually, going, during that time, made that transition to football, and then have been able to carry that all the way up to this point. But when you think back to those days, what comes to your mind, Alex?
I just like to the competitiveness of it, the competition that's incorporated when maybe perhaps it's not as much about winning or losing, or perhaps even your skill at the game. It's more about just competing and getting
Mhm.
exercise at the time. But I
Yeah.
really fell in love with that factor of it, and especially with finding the right sport when it uh, and maybe baseball wasn't it at the time, but
Mm.
it was great to experiment with different things. Maybe when there
Yeah.
wasn't as much high octane pressure and such little and constricted time, and so that was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And when I look at this list, that you've always been part of you were part of championship teams, and you started in sixth grade. I mean, again, when you think back, that right off the bat, you were able to again, just have that success at such an early age. What did that do to you? Seventh grade, starter at Hellstern Middle School in 2018. I mean, best overall record, said for Northwest Arkansas. When you look back, that right then, you're again, all that training, all the, just working on your skill set. It obviously, again, it really, it all meshed together well for you at that point.
Well, it really gave me the opportunity to see the fruits of my labor after maybe not working as hard as we do in high school, and
Hmm.
but definitely seeing the work that you put in middle school, being able to put forth something, and even though it might have been what I thought was laborious at the time, uh,
Hmm.
the result was proved to be far worth it, and I felt it really uh, built on my ability to take on new challenges because of the result being so gratifying.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there, and let me tell you, I wanted to go to actually 2017. I know it was a third place, but salute to Armed, Forces football tournament. You're able to participate. Talk about that one per se. I know that you were part of, I said the Impact Football Super Bowl champions, and again, All American with the Diamond Football, but and then the sixth grade sportsmanship award. But talk about that, with salute to Armed Forces football tournament.
So at the time, I felt my parents wanted to develop my football skills because I had such interest in it, and
Hmm.
the, so the organization I joined, which you were talking about,
Yeah.
really helped enhance my football skills from a younger age, and taught me the value of working hard to get stuff to
Hmm.
to go follow my passions. And the salute to arms forces bowl. Okay, this a little hazy, so I don't
Hmm.
remember this as much, but
Okay.
I believe it was a fundraiser for the local National Guard, if I was correct.
Okay.
And so being able to put my passion into something good like that, that was
Yeah.
and being able to play football in general is always fun. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's again, just uh, to see that. I mean, that again, just outstanding to see. 2018. I'm sure this is where you really, you know, sort of had that breakout year. I mean, one of the 50 nationwide seventh graders selected to participate in the East versus West football tour in Las Vegas. Only one or two Arkansas football players selected to play in the AP All American Bowl. Selected to attend the New Orleans Bowl as both the offensive and defensive lineman. He tried out for the USA national football team and selected to attend the Pro Football Hall of Fame training camp. It doesn't get any better than that, Alex. Talk about, I
Yeah.
mean, how great of I mean 2018 just to be able to be in a select class and be honored, again, as said for your football talent.
Yeah. Uh, once again, I really gotta thank my parents for that, for being able to inform me of these opportunities, and
Hmm.
being able to actually take the time out of their day to go out and participate and develop my football skills because of that. And at the end of the day, they were just so awesome. Whenever it came to training, extra training you received, when it came to actually playing football against others in the competition, that was really great.
Yeah, no, again, just terrific, to see again, all, again, there's so much that goes into it, just in terms of how much, people don't see that. Again, I asked you before, the behind the scenes work. No one, unless you document that on film, on video, no one's going to ever see again how much effort it takes, to again, reach, this type of level. I went to, there's so much, again, stress and so much pressure, like in terms of playing the sport, um, to sort of, kick back from that, be with your family, with your friends. What are those moments like? The fact that you can step off the field, that you can at least relax for a time being. I'm wondering when you ever get the rest here, Alex. But with everything you have to do, all the responsibilities and tasks that you have at hand. But when you're in that moment with your family and friends, just describe that.
Um, so like what you said, football and academics, they can be very extensively exhausting,
Hmm.
and so my family usually likes to spend a lot of time fishing on Bull Shoals Lake, and that is absolutely wonderful to do, to be able to relax and stuff after a really hard week. And whenever I spend time with them, it's awesome to get to know each other and maybe
Hmm.
talk about our different trials and stuff we're going through. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's great. That's great. So I'm wondering, with the game of football, I said you've been playing for a long time.
Mhm.
What are some of the intangibles that stand out about this game that make it so special to play? That you obviously have that drive, you have that passion, to play the sport. But coming back year after year, it's not easy, to do it. Again, there's so much commitment that goes into it. You have to be dedicated, towards the sport. But what is it for you, whether it's on the field, off the field, that makes it so worthwhile?
I feel like what makes it so worthwhile, like you said, it has to be so worthwhile with all the hard work and dedication that
Yeah,
we go through in order to be able
yeah.
to play. And so what makes it so worthwhile is that the um, the physicality of it compared to other sports, and the technical aspects of it, and when it comes to coming together as a group and actually going
Mhm,
to accomplish something with so many interchanging parts and so many people relying on each other for various reasons. And if one cog in the machine fails, the whole machine fails. And
mhm.
so the reliance on one another, and the belief that if we all strive for this one goal, that there's a possibility we can achieve it. And so I think that part of it, and the physicality, that it's hard to get both of those
When you're, so speaking of hockey, when you're out there striking, and you're up against, the opposing lineman, I'm wondering what's filtering through your mind. I'm always, again, fascinated by this, when I do ask, football players about this. So for you, in the, you again playing so long, I said year after year, but especially here in high school, what are those moments like for you?
So, when you're going up against a person, this is gonna sound awful, but you're not thinking about the person across from you as much.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, you're thinking about what the aspects where your coach has harped on,
Yeah.
and what they wanted you to go. And so, for example, if they wanted you to to perform a certain move, or to really focus on your hands that week, or your feet, you really put all your brain power to perhaps on those aspects of yourself, and the
Mm-hmm.
opposing person across from you, you feel like you're just reacting to them rather than going against them. And so that's what it feels like to go across. I'm not as much worried about the person across from me as how I'm gonna get to the quarterback, how I'm gonna do what coach wants me to do, how I'm gonna perhaps perform this next stunt. And so that's really what I'm worried about, not as much the person across from me.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's good points you made there. So I'm wondering when it comes to college football or the NFL, any particular players that you sort of pay attention to here, Alex?
That I'm paying attention to.
Yeah.
Well, with work and with football, it's been really hard to focus on particular players,
Okay.
but hmm, that's a really good question,
Yeah,
actually.
I was just sorry. If anybody stands out, sometimes said athletes do look up to a couple players that are that one or two that they might said say okay what that's sort of where I try to model my game after and try to pick up on maybe some of their tendencies. But I was just curious about that if there's anybody out there that you might pay attention to. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Okay. Hey, before you get the final word and message here, and I think you're in a great spot to offer some much needed advice because you've worked with kids before, and I think the
yeah.
athletes out there, as you know, we live in a very competitive, world here, in terms of with social media, the highlight videos are out there. I'm wondering what you would, say to the kids as they try to figure out, what sports, if it is football, and how to be successful and just move up that ladder. What would you say to them if they were watching this interview?
Um, I think I would ask them what are they doing with their time, and what are their goals in life, and how are they using the time available to them and the
Hmm.
resources available to them to achieve those goals. So whether it's I'm so sorry, whether it's football or school or any other that, what time is available to them, what's important to them, and how are they using that time to achieve those goals, their and to improve their futures. So that's what I have to say to that.
Yeah, no, it's sound advice, and I almost omitted this, but I'm so glad uh, I wanted to bring this up. Your goal to be the best student athlete, family member, and community member I can be. I just, I did not want to forget that line because I think, and your mom provided that. Just talk about that, that motto.
So I wanted to make sure that that the time I have that I'm using it to the best of my ability, and I feel like the best thing I could do is if I'm being supportive to somebody, if I'm improving myself, if I'm improving somebody else, and or if I'm improving my community, I feel like as long as I'm doing one of those things, I'm being successful in life, and that's why that's my motto.
It's great. Hey, it's you get the final word and message here. I mean, again, you have just been able to share so much valuable information, in this interview. Again, I'm sure for family, friends, teammates, and coaches, the student body administration athletic department at Harbor High School and the community of Springdale, Arkansas. I wanted to give you the floor. I'm sure there are again a lot of people that you want to acknowledge and thank here, Alex.
Well, yeah, I really want to thank my parents. I know I harped on that in this interview, but they've given me
Mhm.
so much support, as aforementioned by yourself, and they've given me all the opportunities and tools I've needed to succeed, as well as the the coaching staff have had in front of me from Harbor High School all the way down to the Diamond. Whenever I was little, that I feel like that really improved upon me, and uh, yeah, I think that's all I have to say, sir.
It's been absolutely a true honor and privilege being able to speak with you, Alex. Again, to hear your background, story and journey, and academics, athletics, the game of football, and wishing you all the best, continued success here in your senior year at Harbor High School in Springdale, Arkansas, and can't wait to see I said where you end up in college next year.
Well, thank you, sir. Congratulations on 100,000 followers.
Thank you. 95,000. But we're halfway there. That's
I'm
all
so
right.
sorry.
Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely will tell the owner, but no, thank you. We're again halfway home, but yeah, it's just again another milestone achievement. But once again, thank you, Alex, and again keep up the great job.
Thank you.